Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and today I wanted to share a little bit of what we call nerdy greenhouse math. Now what I mean by that is, in the past week, I've done a couple of videos about seed starting and why people use heat mats and how to use them and all that sort of stuff. But I realized I have the perfect example of why people use heat mats. So I got my statistics out this morning because the other day when I was showing you guys, doing the tour of the seedling area, I showed you guys this little container that's supposed to have tiara cabbage in it, and at the time there were no tiara cabbage in it, and now there are 3. Now they're teeny tiny. This guy was actually poking up a little bit more, but I watered him which is important. So I have 3 for sure that have sprouted in here now. I realized this is the perfect example of why people use a heat mat. So back in February 24th to be exact, I planted 8 seeds. Same batch as these. Now, these are not new seeds. These are tiara cabbage from Johnny's Select Seeds, who, by the way, she is not a sponsor. And the germination test on these seeds was done September of 2019, and they had 97% germination. Now, they're coming up great. 97% is pretty darn close to 100%. Now, that's not the way large numbers statistics work, but we can think of it that way most of the time, and it does work. So, February 24th, I planted 8 of them. These were planted, same exact potting soil as this stuff, same exact heat mat. Planted out here, not in the house, watered the same way, and on the heat mat, in 4 days, they started germinating, and 4 days later, they were all germinated except for 1. So it took 4 days total. Well, I guess you'd say 8 days total. And they were all germinated. And I got 7 out of 8. Not bad, especially for older seeds. At this point, I was still experimenting with the old ones to see if they'd pop up, and they are. So I'm just going to use them till they're gone, because I have new ones, but why throw away the old ones? So this little container here, planted March 15th. 16 days later, 1 cabbage came up. You know, when I was first thinking about this, I was thinking, oh, I must have just, because I did slosh into one of the little containers there, and I thought, oh, geez, it probably buried the seeds too deeply and everything else. No, these seeds are right at the top when I actually look at them. They're not buried all the way down. The problem is, it's just a little cool for them. They're coming up, but it took 16 days to get 1 to come up, and a total of 17 days to get a total of 3 to come up. So when you're trying to time things so that you can get things into your garden or get things into pots around the greenhouse or whatever and have succession planting. Right now I have tiara cabbage in a bunch of different stages. And I want it that way so that, you know, there's a cabbage over here that's growing totally gangbusters. I would not be surprised to see us eat it in the next 2 weeks. But some of these, it'll take a month and a half more for them to be ready. And that's our goal. Our goal is to have a continuing supply, just as if we were going to a grocery store, except we don't have to go to the grocery store. So I thought this was an excellent example. And I was just thinking about it this morning, and I'm like, when did I plant those? And then when I realized how long it had taken, this is a good example. It's also a good example of why I keep records, because I can look back and say, when did I plant those for real? And how many days did it take? And one of the things I'm trying to figure out is if I'm using a standard growing method, good quality seed starting soil, good watering habits, a nice little heat mat that's keeping it at about 71 degrees, how long is it going to take for seed number 1 to come up, and how long is it going to take for the last seed to come up? Because I want to know about how long that I have to wait. You know, do I panic at the end of 4 days when I only have one seed up? Or do I panic at the end of 2 weeks? Or do I not panic at all because they're just going to kind of dribble in? There are some plants occasionally, especially with older seeds, that will just kind of dribble in for an extraordinary amount of time. And that's the kind of information I want, because I am trying to time things. We know that we're up against a wall when it comes to temperatures here. Right now, with the fan off, it is about 84 degrees in here. And if I left that fan off, it would be very close to 100 rather quickly. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, it's 63 outside, and that's spiraled up really quickly because the sun just came out. Prior to 10 minutes ago, it was in the high 50s, but it's zooming up now because we have sun. So this is a game we play, trying to balance the greenhouse and the weather outside and the amount of sun we're getting and when we plant our plants. So I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because we're going to have lots more information, lots more handy tips, and hopefully this helps you understand why people do want to use grow mats. I'll admit, before I moved here and I was pushing the seasons as hard as I am, I did not use grow mats. I did use grow lights when I lived in Massachusetts to start seedlings in the house, but that was a fairly warm house and I didn't have to worry about, I don't think did I even know about grow mats? I'm not sure that I even knew about any kind of grow or heat mats back in those days. I may or may not have, or they were so expensive. They probably were so expensive that I couldn't afford it, because it was kind of a stretch for us to have the grow lights, much less anything else. And what we did was we wound up buying a bunch of regular fluorescent light bulb fixtures like you'd use in a shop, and just putting grow lights in those. And it worked great. It worked totally great. But yeah, we've come a long way. So until next time, bye.